live and what's up,
I feel all game ready when I hear that. I do. It's been, I'm like, let's go!
Phil?
I'm ready for my badminton match. What? Badminton.
Whoa, look at this. They came in at the same time. You are so funny. Leslie and Jeannie, I don't know who won.
What's up,
What's up,
y'all? Hi, Mona.
ladies?
Happy day. I'm so sorry I haven't been here. It's been pretty crazy beautiful,
Oh,
actually.
ah, we're so excited to have you, Phil. We have missed you.
Oh,
We
you
have
too. You guys
missed.
too.
Anything
Yeah.
you want to share? Anything?
I'm back in Vancouver again. I was back in Vancouver. Well, I was in Vancouver. I was in Toronto before. Now I was in Vancouver.
Okay.
Was there 1 week, and then in between, we did the show, and then I left for this other show. This show I'm doing, the same show. I still can't talk about it until they give me the yay. You can talk about it. But it was so fantastic, Iona.
I know.
Last time we talked about the process that I went through in getting there and being there, and we'll talk about this on the show, was just another level of experience, and one of the reasons why you choose to be an actor and want to be in movies. It held all of those dynamics. You know, I rode horses and owned a ranch, and we did stunts, and the person I'm working with is such a wonderful actor, and having the dilemma that we had together is
Mm.
just fantastic. It's why you do what we do. You know what I mean? To really embody someone else, and the walk wasn't mine, the voice wasn't mine. I didn't choose it and plan it. It just kind of happened organically, and I was really, 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 really thrilled with the work, and I really believe that they were too. So I expect to hear more from them in the
That's great. I know they were. Phil sent me a picture, you guys, that the director took on a night shoot. Ooh, I can't wait till we can talk about it and we can share that picture. It's going to be
future.
so awesome.
No,
So
I
awesome.
can't wait. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Chris Barrett, what's up? What's up?
What's
What's
up,
up?
CB?
I'll tell you,
So
he's freaking dedicated, wonderful manager. You go, Chris.
he's just looking up. He's just, you know what I mean. He's just looking up on me. He's checking up on me. That's what he's doing.
That's
He's making
right.
sure his client's doing the right thing. You doing the right thing, Morris? Yeah, I'm working it, brother. We are right here
We're
in it.
right here. Well, I
Oh
had a
no,
really
he is my
exciting
partner
week.
in crime. Yeah,
Oh,
how was yours?
he is your partner in crime. I'm telling you. Um, I had a really cool conversation on Sunday where we had you guys. You know how you're always seeing or hearing about. I'm hearing about all the technical madness that can happen when you're streaming. I
Hmm.
experienced it on Sunday. I experienced all week before, and then I experienced some good stuff. Thanks, Chris. I'm glad you were there. But we got it fixed, and it was awesome. It was a conversation. It was a political conversation I had with men, four men.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
this week I'm having a conversation. It was supposed to be with four women, but it looks like it's going to be about six because everyone's like, I got something to say. And so I had two cameras. I had another cameraman come, and he had his camera, and he had the wide shot. And then my camera is the one that went kaplooey. And it's
Hmm.
because the gremlins, and actually it's because I don't know as much as I know today. You know, for I thought I had everything hooked up right, and actually I did not. Well, I went out and bought a new lens. I've got this great wide lens, 11 millimeter lens. I've got a Sony camera. I've got two cameras going, this one and another one. And I am just ready to go on Sunday. So I hope you guys check in with us for this special event. It's a political discussion with a handful of women, around six or seven of them. It's this
Wow.
Sunday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Hmm.
And it's just wonderful to be a part of the political conversation.
I love that you're doing it. I love that you're engaged in that regard. You know, regardless of what we feel and how our political stances are, we all deserve to have them number one and to have them heard and supported and understood, if not completely agreed with or accepted. You know, that's what
Mm-hmm.
this country, I feel, is all about. That's what free speech is. As long as you're not hurting people and you're not damning them or you're not,
That's
you know,
right.
destroy and tear down. You know, let's have at it. You know.
That's right. And how do we grow? How do we come to a collective decision if we actually don't come from two different viewpoints or just don't not listening to each other? And that's
Mm-hmm.
so important. And so I'm really excited about doing that. It's taken my it's taken my week to a whole nother level. But it's so wonderful to have your mind grow and explore. And it's kind of
Yeah,
like probably
yeah.
right? The conversation we'll get in with our guest
Our
tonight.
guest, who is terrific, truly an amazing human being, and happy to be related to her.
She's pretty wonderful. She's pretty wonderful. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play a little video to introduce you to who this wonderful woman is, and we will catch up with Ms. Linda R. Morris. Hey, Linda.
You know her, our sister Linda Morris. Hey, Linda.
Hello. How are you guys?
Really good. Really good.
I,
Better now.
I'm really excited that I didn't wear the same blue nail polish that I have in the last picture.
Wow, we
I was
really
thinking
talk about
about it.
we really talk about some deep things.
Yeah, we
Yeah, speaking of
do.
nail polish and fashion, I
Nail
always think about have I
polish.
worn a shirt before? Did I wear this V-neck T-shirt before? I don't remember.
You know, it's amazing. You look at pictures and you think, how many times did I wear that blouse?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How about the one that gets
Mm-hmm.
me are the hairstyles?
It's true.
But we were looking at our role, right? We're like the amount of facial hair changes that I go through and hairstyles that you go through, Iona. It's quite impressive.
It's
Quite
quite
impressive.
impressive. Before we get going, Linda, I know Phil want to do this too. Hey, Patricia Pink, Kel Sold, Leslie Ward, Jeannie, Poet,
Birdman.
Birdman,
Everybody. Hey,
Christopher,
everybody.
everybody, Leslie, Jeannie, just
Welcome back.
everybody. Hey,
Welcome back.
everybody, and Linda. Linda. That makes me
Hello.
so emotional when I see that. I was so emotional making that video and just you're just such a one. You guys, I just want to tell you, you may have brothers and sisters too. My brother and sister, they're my ride and live people.
Nice one.
I
Nice
love
I
one.
that. I
like
said
that.
ride and die earlier, Phil. I went, I don't like that. Ride
Yeah,
and
no, I
live
like that.
people. I love them. I trust them. I can count on them. I can talk to them. And Linda and I have been through our own journeys, girls go through. But we stuck in there and we are like this. And I love these two human beings. So being here with you and Linda, you're like one of our favorite guests. People ask, when are
Oh,
you
thank
bringing Linda
you.
back?
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. That's very sweet. I appreciate that. Because you know me,
Mm-hmm.
I do definitely like to be back here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with it.
Not a front person. She's a behind the
No,
scenes person
definitely,
mainly.
definitely.
So what's happening,
But
baby? Oh,
but
go
you
ahead,
you
Phil.
can't stay behind the scenes when you're trying to spread your
No.
wings and be an author and be a
Mm-hmm.
chef and do
Yes.
the things that
That's
you're doing with your business. I mean, you have to be front and center, right?
yeah, you got to be willing to put yourself out there, which is it's I mean, it's an uncomfortable place for me to be. It's such a weird thing to say, honestly, being part of this family that, being front and center is hard for me. And I mean that in the best possible way. I mean it in just thing, I mean, we've so much of our lives have been out somewhere, part of something.
Hmm.
And so now the choice for myself is really interesting. Uh, to be at this part of my life and be more shy than ever. I mean, it's kind of like, what lessons do I need to take so that
Hmm.
I can jump
Universe is
in?
talking to you, telling you
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, to be really, okay, come on, come on. But I I view it as an incredible journey. I mean, it's just tapping into other parts of myself, and I like that because it shows me that I'm not just one-sided, that
Hmm.
I have so much growing that's still in me and left, and as uncomfortable as it may be, it just is good for me to feel, because then it means I have that capability, right? I have that ability of looking and growing and moving and
Doesn't it
changing.
give you a chance to surprise yourself? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like in terms of the energy. I'll put it this way: when I did the short for Surfmen, right, which
Hmm.
we'll
Hmm.
talk about
Gosh,
later on, but
I
I didn't know if I had the energy, honestly, to produce. It takes a lot of energy to put together stuff and answer questions and logistically handle everything. Oh, I had more than enough energy. I shocked the shit out of myself
mhm.
because I never saw myself in that capacity, and I was, as an actor, as a um, I don't want to say an artist, but as a person who expresses themselves, you don't always have to have that kind of entire whole world vision, right?
Right.
But as the producer, you do, and you have to have a lot of energy to do that. And I found I surprised the shit out of myself. So is that kind of what you feel too?
Yeah. Yeah, really. I am. I'm surprising myself in a lot of ways. And we've talked about this before, anxiety and things like that, getting hit by certain things. And I know I can feel it in certain ways. I have something happening this Saturday. I'm shooting my book trailer this Saturday.
How
Yeah.
exciting.
And I mean, I'm not going to be on camera at all, but I'm it just preparing for it and putting it together and knowing that I've got to lay things out and make decisions about this shot or that. I mean, I'll have Vince Turok, who's like the coolest dude ever. I mean, come on. And Ray's gonna be there, our buddy Ray.
What? These are
Yeah,
our crew. This is 2/3 of our crew from Secret Santa,
Secret
Yeah,
Santa.
Uber
Super
Santa. Yeah,
Uber Santa.
yeah, Uber Santa. And
Hmm.
but it's as I think about it, it's just my butterflies go up and all this other stuff because it's representing the book and
You're
it's bringing
immersed.
it
You
to
Exciting.
life.
care.
Yeah,
You're invested, right, Iona?
Hmm.
Isn't that
Hmm.
what
Absolutely.
goes on?
I think if you don't have those butterflies, sometimes there
yeah,
are things you will forget about because you're triple checking, you're quadruple checking, and then also it's like from that the imagination. It's even at times at the last minute you go, "Oh, what if
Right.
we? Let's throw
Right.
in, let's do." And so I'm excited for you, Linda. That
Yeah,
is
me
yeah,
too.
great.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, baby.
Wonderful,
yeah, yeah.
wonderful,
But
honey.
You,
but it is those things to be surprised and shocked and good, good.
yeah, you bring your best self. I
Hmm.
think when you kind of like I don't know I got to figure it out. What the heck? Ryan Reynolds said that. As a matter of fact, I read an interesting article with him, and he goes through a lot of anxiety.
Yeah,
And Hugh Jackman was interviewing him, obviously, for the Deadpool Wolverine movie, and was talking about his anxiety. And Ryan was like, because I'm looking at it from every angle, from the angle of the character, from the angle of the producer, from the angle of the visionary, from the angle of the audience.
Hmm.
What's going to move me as an audience, and I care so much about it that it creates this anxiety, which he thinks helps him. Um, so he owns it. Do you know what I mean?
right.
And just accepts it, which I think is the best way to deal with any of that. Because you can't just will it away. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah,
Um, so you
That's
try to
yeah,
awesome.
use it.
yeah. That will it away thing is it. That's such a great point that you bring up because we it's fight or flight, right? So
Hmm.
if we decide that we're not going to fight, then we just put it away. And It's why I really do believe there are so many of us writers who have all these amazing stories that we just don't put out there for people to read because we're so afraid. What are they going to say about them? And oh, I don't. What if they don't like them? And that everybody's. You're going to have to take that risk, and that's part of even just everyday life. Certain things, right? You know, just like going on Saturday to do the book. I mean, trailer. If I don't go do that, I will regret it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I got to do it. I got to do it, and so that's exciting. That's an exciting sort of thing. But yeah,
And
hiding from it.
you cannot make a decision for people and how they feel about something.
Right.
You just you never know, and what you're depriving. Amara came over yesterday. She for everyone who doesn't know her, she's my granddaughter. We got to have her on as a youth. She's amazing. One day, and Amara was oh shoot, I guess I shouldn't have said her name, but she's talking about power. She's talking about power, and she's talking about owning her own power at this time in her life. And that's
Hmm.
scary and uncomfortable. She's in her 20s. And I took her over to a wonderful quote that we have from Nelson Mandela, who talks about, who are you not to believe? I'm going to paraphrase. You are beautiful and bold and terrific. You are afraid. We are more afraid of our light than our darkness. And
Yep.
that it's not up to us of it's, do you love it? Does it generate joy and love in you? Yes, and fear, because every time we put something out there, people have the right to make comments.
Yeah.
Put it
They have
out
their
there.
opinion.
That's right. Put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Truly. Truly. You know, there's this great quote that so many people have attributed to varying, whether it's Christopher Walken or Keanu Reeves. It's neither of them, actually. It is a woman named Nanea Hoffman, and she had this. I don't know if she still has the website or whatever, but it was called Sweatpants and Coffee. And
Oh, I like that.
it says, note to self, none of us are getting out of here alive. And if you guys have heard this quote, it's not Christopher Walken or Keanu Reeves.
Or Keanu
None,
Reeves, yeah.
or,
They do say it
right.
though.
Yes, they do. But she initiated it. None of us are getting out of here alive. So please stop treating yourself like an afterthought. Eat the delicious food, walk in the sunshine, jump in the ocean. Say the truth that you're carrying in your heart like hidden treasure. Be silly, be kind,
Mm,
be weird. There's no time for anything else. I keep that over my desk. So,
I
I mean,
love
just so
that.
you guys know, if you saw me looking, it's because it's right there all the time. So, yeah, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. And
absolutely.
you started this with, and I want to go back to it because I know Iona has thoughts on this as well. Growing up the way we did, right? And how exposed we were at such a very, very young age. Unconsciously, I mean, we didn't know. I had no idea what was going on. I mean, I had a sense of it, but I didn't know in the midst of it at 7 years old that we were representing anything, that we
Right.
were anything other than our father and our mother's children. You know what I mean? And then we started to realize, wait a minute, our father's doing something that's very important and very exposed, and the world, not just the country, but the whole world is watching. You know,
Mhm.
that's different than most people go through it growing up, especially at young ages. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you feel certain ways about that growing up, and you make decisions about how exposed you are and have been, and you either lean into it, um, or you don't, because it's not going to be innocuous. It's not going to just lay there. The universe doesn't allow that.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
you choosing or seeing that, I'd rather be off the radar as opposed to on it, comes from a real place.
I want to go back to something I said because I was typing and then I just said, do it. It is so true. If you don't put out what it is that you love, that you want to express, the world is less for that. There's a part of you also that doesn't get a chance to grow, to learn more about yourself, to see if you really have something to offer. It could be in your office, it could be in any job that you
Hmm.
have. We're just creative people. And so many times I remember there was a guy who came to our show a lot on IG who would say, I hate when people steal my ideas. It was because he had ideas, he didn't act on it, and then he looked up and someone else took it. Not necessarily anyone he knew, but it's because it's like ideas are floating around and who's going to grab it? It's your idea, you don't take it, it goes on with someone else. It's being bold, it's taking a risk, it's jumping off that cliff and knowing, just knowing you are going to be caught.
Yeah. Yeah. And our ideas are wonderful. It's just how you bring it to life, right? I mean,
Mhm.
there really are no new ideas, they say, right? But it is how you take it and fashion it and bring it to life.
Hmm.
There's a possibility for all of us with that. I love that, knowing that. I mean, you think about it, right? You think about the movie Big and how many films there were about these body switching things
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so on and so
yeah.
forth.
Mm.
It's all that.
Oh yeah, it's your interpretation. It's how you filter it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
any
Mhm.
performance, right? You're going to give one actor these lines and this character, they're going to interpret it one way. You're going to give it to another
Yeah.
actor, so they're going to interpret it another way. And real quick, Kevin, I'm surprised you're surprised. This is Linda Morris, our sister, who is here. She's bachelorette number two in the show, and has been our sister ever since I can remember.
Yeah, me
So
too. So weird.
just sharing it with the world. But
It is.
I definitely want to get back to the uniqueness of our upbringing and how
Mm.
that has shaped our forms of expression and how we
Hmm.
choose to be in the world. You know,
Yeah.
it's heavy shit, man. People don't get it. I mean, they don't understand that.
Mhm.
They shouldn't. But I'm just telling you, from my point of view, it's not small.
It
Yeah,
has
it's not
informed
nothing.
us. It has
Mm.
Yes.
informed us and shaped us on how we navigate through the
Yeah.
world. That most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. It certainly has. And
Mm.
it's so fascinating. Some of the most interesting things have happened lately, of dad coming back up, uh just showing up in places. So for example, the whole thing with the Carol Burnett show, Phil, that you had shared, and all of, I mean, huh? And my son Brandon, who happened to on dad's birthday, found this whole thing that had all of these Hirschfeld,
Caricatures. Yeah.
caricatures,
Mhm.
and dad was one of them. And to celebrate his birthday, along with all these other people, Gwyneth Paltrow, caricature, and there was dad, and it was just like, what? And then it's so weird because he's he's our dad.
Hey,
Yeah.
puppy.
He's that guy too, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
And then you think about it and you're like, yeah, but what an extraordinary experience we had. And then how does that color who we are and what we do moving forward?
Mm.
I wouldn't write and do what I do if we hadn't been who we were. Even though I'm back in wherever, I did act, I did do that, I did do these things because investigating that was allowed in a certain way.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I had someone who was my role model who did these things. And so I figured, why not? The
Mhm.
It was
possibilities were
possible.
endless.
Hence,
Yes.
hence the vision is possible.
Right. And
Literally.
we grew up in a
Right.
creative household. Remember,
Yeah.
we would, and some of you haven't heard this before, haven't heard this, but we would, mom and dad would go out to dinner or go to some party, and they come back, and we're like, okay, sit down. So we created a musical, or we will have drawn something, or we've written a poem. We've created something.
Hmm.
Yeah, we made a bunch of candles and did a bunch of macrame and we did a bunch
Right.
of rugs and
And
we went to
and yeah,
drawings
oh
and
yeah,
oh yeah.
performances.
Hmm.
I
Right.
mean, I think a lot of families do that. In a way, I think that they have their own entertaining quality, but
Right.
Mhm.
very few of them, on the whole, come at it with the background that we do.
Right.
You know, come at it with that. Yes, there is somebody who came before you. You know what I mean? It's like if you come from fill in the blank. I don't want to say a state or a city and denigrate anybody, but you come from those places and you go, I want to do this. I want to daddy. I want to dance, and you're probably the first person in your family who thought that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you don't really have
Mhm.
a role model. You don't have a mentor. You don't have somebody who did it before you. When you grow up in a household where somebody's actually doing it in front of you, um, again, you make certain decisions about that, and you're either going to gravitate towards that, and that's going to really draw you in, or you're going to go, nah, I gotta find something else to do. I mean, the
Right.
three of us, we gravitated towards it. We express it in
Mm-hmm.
different ways, but it was beautiful. Our upbringing was very magnetic and magical and attractive. So
Yeah.
I certainly want to like that in some way.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is people don't know that our mother also had this musical world around her growing up, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Gigi is the name that we get named our grandmother, my mom's mom. And so Gigi
Yeah,
was a
her
reverend,
mom's
but she,
mom. Hmm.
yeah, I said our mom's mom. I said us, didn't I?
Sort of right. Yeah.
Um, but Gigi also, she was a reverend, this compact woman who was a reverend who also had led all male band through the
Hmm.
Southeast. Did you not know that, Phil?
Hmm.
Oh, I knew it.
Gigi, oh
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah.
I know, yeah, I knew you knew that. So I mean, and here she was, who was taking this all male band, this Reverend Keys, all by herself, and our mom was playing not just in her mother's church, but our mom played for all the churches
All the
in the little
denominations.
all in the little Power, West Virginia coal mining town. I mean, it was so amazing. And so we were really fortunate that we had this incredible upbringing like that, because I remember when Dad took over, we had this huge dining room. Dad got rid of the dining table, brought in a grand piano, and it became the music room,
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
because that's who we were. And that's that's super cool. I mean, I'm a writer, and I guess I could come up with some very poetic way of saying all of this, but it was super cool. And it felt like everybody should be allowed to do that. And so we're up in the hills, and our house became that centralized area where everybody could be that.
Hmm. It was a
you know
creative, loving space. There's a question here, you guys, that I think is interesting. I put it, but I want to bring it back. Kevin asked, were your parents always supportive of your career choices or when you went into the business for yourself? No.
No.
Mm-mm. No. I'll answer first. Okay, so no. So dad and mom were like, no, don't want you to be an actress. And dad was very vocal about that. He was worried about the casting couch. He said you'll live on beans, and it was they just not at all. It was really awful. I was in college. I left college at 19, and I worked at KHJ Radio in Los Angeles. It was number one rock and roll station, answering phones. That's how I got into voiceovers, because everyone heard my voice on the phone, all the music execs, and they were like, wait a minute, that girl's got something. But I want to be an actress. And one day I remember I was 21, and I came home. I called mom and dad, because we would have these meetings, you guys, ever since we were a little kid. Dad would wake us up at no 30 in the morning to talk to us about why'd you leave those pair of socks in the hallway, or for any reason, or a family discussion, get around the dining room table. So I call mom and dad. I'm 21. I show up. I need to talk to you. I want to be an actress. I'm going to be an actress. It's what is calling to me, and this is what I need to do. And I had this long spiel, and I was sweating bricks, but I was over them telling me I can't, because I had to. They both just said, okay. And I think what it was, what I feel is, I left college at 19. I moved out on my own. I was working as paying my own bills. By this time, my parents really knew I wanted to do it, but also they knew that I was not a lazy kid. Dad knew I was not going to starve. I was always going to have a job and pay my bills and do what I needed to do. And then I was good at it as well. And he knew that there was no possible way that I was not going to do it. But no, dad and mom were not supportive of that, because they were concerned, knowing the business, very concerned as to whether I would be successful and make it. And I think it was not the part about being successful or making it, but it's the hard times while you're kid. They didn't want me to go through, but
I think they wanted to protect all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just,
yes.
again, our father was one of the first, and that's a thankless place to be,
Mm,
because you got to suffer all of it, right? For all of us, and
hmm.
and he did. and he did. And our mother saw that and saw how difficult it was for him, even though he was successful at it. And even in his success, he had a challenge with who he was in this country.
Yeah.
So to have your children want to go into the same place, that's not a guarantee. You know, obviously there's nothing guaranteed in this journey. I think they were trying to protect us for sure. Actually, I know that they were.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
that's what that was about to me. It just was a matter of I only you said it. There was a it was incontrovertible. This is what I was going to be, you know.
Mhm.
And as soon as I realized in me that that was the truth,
Mm.
you know.
Thank you,
And
Phil.
I know
That yes.
you were hellacious on the stage. You were a force of
Wow.
nature. I mean, nominated for an Irene Ryan Award that you easily could have won. I mean, easily could have gone to New York and done amazing stuff. You could have been at the Viola Davis at that time. I mean, I'm telling you, people, Iona Morris was fierce. And when she came back to LA and started doing the theater circuit and
Thanks, babe.
theater around LA, man, she was she was a name. I mean, people would work with me and they go, I worked with your sister in this play at the what was the Lagans place? The
I'm going to tell you, it was so long ago, Phil. I can't. It was before.
LA
It was
Cultural Center,
91.
LA
Oh,
Cultural
the
Center.
Cultural Center.
What?
And
Yeah, I mean
God,
Hmm.
you
it's
were hitting it like
it's killing me.
Yeah,
you were hitting
constantly at the
it
Cultural Center.
play after
Yeah.
play, Iona,
Yeah.
and people would work with me on TV shows like, oh, I know your sister, oh, she's an amazing actor, blah 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 blah. And then Linda is as talented as they get, and was doing work in high school that was as good as anybody I'd ever seen, and then it could also sing, you know.
Went on
I
tour.
mean, yes, went on tour in Asia. Vicky Dog. Anyway, my point is, my people are truly talented. Yes, we came from a background that lent to this particular journey, but the journey don't care who you come from. Don't care who
Mm-mm.
your mom and dad is,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
the director, don't matter. You're the one who got to walk it, and you guys walked it beautifully. And you know that's how I feel about my journey. This is my journey. Yeah, is it
Mm-hmm.
informed by our father and our mother? Absolutely, like everybody's is. And to be quite honest, very few of the people that I work with know who our father was, which is really wild for me
Yeah.
because that's all they knew when I first started. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so to have come full circle and to be in a place where I'm the person that they know, not him. And then when I tell them who he is, they're like, "What? Oh my god!" Blah blah blah. I told Spike Lee. Spike Lee was like, "Oh, okay, I get it. That's why you're so good. Oh yeah, all right, okay." You know, so it's really a beautiful journey that we've been on, and to find each one of ourselves in our own lane. I couldn't be more proud of us, honestly.
And I think Phil, not I think, but Phil, what you said is so important. It's about when we finally went to mom and dad and say, "This is what I need to do for me." Of course, they could say nothing but okay, because it was the belief within. It was no longer asking permission. Can I? It was, this is who I am. And I think that's something very important for people to know, that once you own it, there'll be people behind you. There'll be people behind you to support you. You know, there still may be those naysayers who are afraid for you, but just jump on out there and show them they don't have to be afraid. And the truth is, if you don't try, you're never going to know. Fail. Okay. Get a no. Okay. Lick your wounds and keep going. Because around the corner is your next yes. Around the corner is the next job that can propel you. How many people have we all heard about who give up right before they're about to hit it? They give up. Don't give up.
Or they about to quit, and something keeps them in the game.
Right.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think
Pretty.
of James Cromwell, who
That's exactly what I was
I
thinking
love
about.
him.
he was all done and he just went and did Babe.
The farmer from Babe the Pig.
Oh,
If anybody
yeah.
saw the
Oh, right.
movie,
Right.
his
And
agent
then
I
called and
remember that.
said, "We got this role for you. It's in Australia. It's of a pig farmer.
and he
It's of
was
a
just like,
farmer."
oh,
What?
okay.
All right, my last go round. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me make my insurance. Okay. And look
Oh,
And
what
that was
happened.
just going to be it. And there you go. Yeah. There is a very interesting question from Canine. Um,
From
what
Coach. Hold on.
Uh,
There you go, baby.
um, what qualities do you see in Philly and Iona you wish you had strived to have? I'm
And for
happy
our,
to answer that.
and for our
And vice
Iona and
And,
versa.
Phil,
and,
what
and
qualities,
vice
Linda, do you
versa.
wish you had strive to have? Okay, that's a good one. Okay.
So I'll tell you, I am not a party person. I don't I Phil likes to say this, and I love it so much. That I could be a hermit and live in a little shack somewhere, and I'd be very, very happy. I cook for people, and they could come over, but I'd be very happy living on my own. I'm quite the loner. Um, I have watched my brother and my sister at parties and in crowds and groups when we've gone out, and they're so good at engaging with people, and I wish that I was better at that. I wish I was more comfortable in those kinds of settings, because I'm not. I'm just not. And I wish I were better at it. So those are the qualities that I wish I had. I wish I was a better kind of social butterfly kind of person. And Because I think it's an incredible quality to have. And so that's what
Hmm.
I
Linda's
Linda.
a go ahead. Linda's a master organizer. I mean, a master organizer, and she's very good technically. She has an amazing facility for putting things together and getting them in shape, especially when they're absolutely out of control. So I wish I had that sort of organizational mind in a way. There's a part of her that embraces romanticism that I wish I embraced more. Um, I get away from it to be pragmatic in certain ways, even though I am incredibly romantic and super liberal arts oriented. There's the part of me that wishes I could let go even more and lean into that romanticism in me, um, which I think I am now, and I think that's why things are changing in my career because I'm just letting go, and I'm not trying to be perfect or right. Just want to be honest, and so yeah, those are the qualities that I wish I could emulate in Linda
That's
from Linda.
that's cool. Linda is a very gentle soul. She's really gentle. I have more spice, and I wish that there's a gentleness and a focus that Linda has in dealing with people that I would like to have more of. I'm here and I'm there and I'm moving around, but Linda plants and she's just right there and she's calm. And I've noticed that become more solid in her as she's gotten older, and it's real, and I've gotten to know her better. And it's a beautiful, beautiful calming quality that I really love.
You know, we
Thank you.
were. That's a great question. Go ahead, Anna. Sorry.
And then I want to say about Phil. He's like, ah. He's like, I want to do this. Ah. Phil's got more. Ah. He's got more belief in himself and life and moving, and I, from both of them, I like more of what Linda has and more of what Phil has in that. Um, I think that that's so admirable that he has, and I wish that I had more of that tenacity, that belief in myself that Phil has.
It's interesting you say that, and I agree. I make this kind of joke that that mom and dad had Iona, and that an alien man came, and then mom had Phil, because Phil picks up everything, and within seconds he can say, I've never surfed before, but I just went and I just totally surfed 10-foot waves, and I've now got I don't know, I got awards. I think today I'm going to climb Mount Everest. I did, and it was okay. I mean, it's just like, but it's because of this. Phil goes and does. He doesn't
Hmm.
talk about it. If he talks about it, it's because he went and did, and he's going to tell you about it.
Hmm.
He's a doer, and he gives himself fully to the doing. And that just speaks so, I mean, other than the fact that he's very, his physical prowess and all of that, he really takes care of himself physically and all of those things that go into it. But you can be in the best shape of your life and still have a heart attack and still be
Mhm.
somebody who sits on the couch all the time. I mean, you can do all that. He doesn't do that. And it's really exciting to see, and it's inspiring.
Mhm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, it's a mutual admiration society. Obviously, the
Yes,
things
it
about
is.
Iona that I appreciate. I thought we were just going to talk about Linda, so I don't want to leave Iona out. No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
She can connect with human beings in a way that just really great directors do. You know, I mean, she understands the human experience and can transmit that to other people and have them find it within themselves. I mean, that's a talent, and I don't have that. I'm pretty selfish when it comes to that. I'm pretty much looking for me and what moves me. But Iona's able to connect with other people. She's very giving and gives of herself willingly, and
Mhm.
will organize things for you or bring things to you or have things available for you in a way that you need, not in a way that she needs you to need it, but in the way that you actually do need it. And that she gives of herself willingly and without any judgment. Um, that's, I would say, beatific in a way. To me, it's Christ-like in a way to be able to have that kind of compassion for people and have no filter about that. That's special. I'm more selfish than that, admittedly. So, again,
Mhm.
as you can see, we grew up in a very special place, and we feel a way about each other that is very special, and that's why Owen and I do this. That's why we invite Linda to share with this, because we know it's special, we know it's unique, we know it's rare, and the more that we get a chance to experience it, the better we are, and we hope that you guys appreciate the same
Yeah. Yeah. I want to bring something in. I like, you guys, the Mutual Admiration Society.
thing.
It's real. It's real. And I wanted to bring this to you, Linda. Jeannie said, I loved Grizzly Gourmet. I donated to
Oh,
my library so others can read it too! Exclamation point, exclamation point.
oh, that's so cool to hear. Thank you so much. That means a ton. That's huge. Thank you. You
Hmm.
know, that's really cool. Oh.
Linda's book. Just to add a little cherry
Yeah,
on top
to
of
it.
the cherry on top, right? Of
Well,
everything.
moving into where we wanted to. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. You got something else out of there? You got
Yeah,
something else?
Phil, I wanted to go back on something because I thought of this. When okay, shoot, I want to grab a hold of it. When we were talking about how we come from parents who are artistic, and so we're artistic, and that's where we kind of get that. And and then it made me think about your children, Jordan and Rachel, who are not in the business at all. But I wanted to mention this because I think this is important also for others is, but what they are is, and your children, your children are artists, Linda. But what it is they have a work ethic and a living life ethic that they bring to who they are and they bring to what they do. So though they may not be in the business we are all in exactly there. They bring the love and the care and the talents that you've shown them
Mm-hmm.
through living
Mm-hmm.
your life into what they do.
I agree.
I wanted to say that and I'd love to for you guys to take it wherever, but I want to say that for everyone. Yeah, Jordan, Kevin, and Rachel, because I think that's important when people go, oh, like Birdman said, my dad wanted me to play baseball, but I got an injury, and so I ended up playing basketball. So many times we go, oh, I'm not like my parents. I didn't do what they wanted. It may not be exactly, but what you bring to your life is the essence, the foundation that they
Mm-hmm.
give you.
Well, there art is subjective, right?
Yes.
And so there's art in everything.
Mhm.
There's creativity in everything. You know, how Rachel coaches and how she communicates and spreads the word, and it's artistic and extraordinary. There's an incredible art to it. What Jordan does, the art of that is amazing.
Mhm.
And there's art everywhere. What how we create the nuances and the talent that we put into each of those moments, whether it's, that we're building a motherboard or we're
Mm.
painting a picture, that moment of looking at those intricate things and seeing in the ones and the zeros, when people are talking about the ones and the zeros and the whole thing when they're doing dev and how they can read these things that are beautiful and it's a beautiful program. It's all art. It
Mhm.
really is. And
Mhm.
so, it doesn't matter how it comes to life for you. You're an artist.
Well, it's the art of life, right?
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
The art of life. That's why the Japanese have tea ceremony. Because they wanted to show, even in the simplest
Mm.
of expressions, there's artistry.
Yeah.
And, I at times, not always, but I live the kung fu way. I'm in that place because I know the essence of that thing, and I try to bring that thing to the essence of my life. That's exactly what the art of living is all about. And whoever you
Mhm.
are in your life, your authenticity, which is an overused word, but I'll use it anyway, is your art.
Yeah.
That's your art. Not necessarily the thing that you do, but as Linda said, what you bring to that thing that you do.
Mhm.
That's your art. That's your superpower. Don't play it small. Don't denigrate yourself. Live in full, as Iona says. Look in the mirror, see your best friend. That's that's the art of living. And we were talking about Linda's book and what Iona does and what I do, and we want to talk tonight about momentum. And what that
Mm.
to me means is taking this art and continuing it, continuing the flow, not letting anything stop it, not letting the challenges of life inhibit you or filter that from you.
Mm.
How do you maintain the momentum of success, of positivity, of wellness, of the
Mhm.
art of living? You know, what processes do you engage in to figure that out for yourself? Because once you land upon it, you light upon it. That's great.
Right.
Now you got to continue that. What helps you continue that momentum? What inspires you? What motivates you? What gets you up in the morning to continue that thing? That's kind of what I want to get into because I need it like everybody else needs it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a I am I'm working on the second book, and I woke up the other day and realized I hadn't I write all the time because part of what I do for a living is I write for people. And so I'm writing all the time. And one of the big reasons that a main reason that I did the first book is because I needed to write for me. I have the story. I needed to write for me. I needed to get that out there and do that and make it happen. And whatever happened with it, I needed to make sure I did it. And I realized the other day that I had not been writing for me again.
Mm.
And it was really bugging me. And
Mhm.
then I stopped and I thought, I could do one of two things. I can let it bug me and think about how much it bugs me and then just be bugged. And then I still look at the computer and be like, see, I'm not writing again. And, I go back and then, go off, have a glass of whatever, and then just, bleh. Then I stopped and said, or I can say, okay, obviously you had something you needed to do. So you
Mhm.
did it. Now, what are you prepared to do for you?
Come on, Linda.
And what I'm prepared to do for me is right for me. I don't know if book two will come out. All I know is I will finish it. I will do it and I will go in it. When it will be done, I don't know. I know that every night now I write a little bit on it. And when I have a little bit of a block, we do get writer's block, and so we
Mhm.
write through it. I'll write something else, but that's mine,
Hmm.
so I can write through it and then come back. Because if I write something that I need to write for somebody else, then what I'll do for myself is, well, I got to finish that, and oh, look, I need to do that one too, and I should, and then I'll go down that rabbit hole again. It doesn't mean that I negate the fact that I have to write my work. but I have to also write my joy. I have to
Mm,
write my passion.
mm,
I have to give that light and air to breathe. And so that was what I had to do for myself, was to say, okay, hold on. I have a choice. I can keep beating myself up and then not doing anything about it. Or I can say,
mm,
okay, that enough of that. What are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to write it. Okay, then write it.
I love
Start
that,
small,
Linda.
write it.
Hmm. One step at a time, huh?
Yeah,
mm,
yeah, yeah. Because
Hmm.
if you start looking at it like, well, okay, I'm going to do. This is the thing that I think that I know happens. That you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to write 20 pages a day, or 20, 200 words a day. Okay, well, hold on a minute. Take a deep breath. Just start writing. Just start writing. If you'll suddenly look up and you'll see it's 3 in the morning and you got on a roll and you're like, ah, it's awesome. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. As opposed to, I didn't hit my 20 pages or whatever. Well,
mm,
it's like working out, right? Oh, well, okay. Well, I didn't. Okay. Well, today I'm not going to do it, but maybe tomorrow. Well, okay. Today also I can't do it, but you keep finding excuses for yourself because maybe you didn't hit whatever. Well, stop giving yourself excuses. And I have to tell myself that this is, trust me, this isn't people stop giving yourself excuses. I really am not doing that. This is about me right now and what
mm,
I have to do for me. And it has helped me tremendously. Somebody had written about writer's block. For me, when I get hit with a block in a story, I shift to what is called the I come from.
mm,
And the I come from is just a writer's tool that is you just start writing about yourself. I come from Beverly Hills. I come from being the third of three kids. I come from, and you just start writing that. And then as you write, what starts to happen is it starts to become more melodic and lyrical and detailed. And I come from late nights of summer, summer evenings with the nectarines hanging heavily over the ceiling. And I mean, then these things just start coming. And then you start to say, I think it's time for me to go back to Theo. I think I'm ready for Theo. Go back to the story. That's what helps me get through it. Um, and for each writer, it's different, but it helps me to write through in some way, as opposed to I've got writer's block, I have to stop. For me, I have to keep working the muscle in just a different way.
When I have a block, I end up when I'm writing a one person show. That's generally what I'm writing. I will end up uh, uh, just guess writing something of, well, what do you guess? And then I'll start guessing what I'm writing about. Well, I could write, and then it gets me to the point. Or either I'll stand up and start exercising, start walking around, just walk away just for a moment. And then it comes to me, or all right, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to fucking say. I don't know what to write. Why do I think I'm a good writer? And then it comes, because
mm.
then you just kind of get that doubt out of your mind.
That you
Hmm.
so you address it. You go right at it. You look right at it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. Wow.
So I don't, um, so that I can stay in the process, like you say, Linda. I think that's great. Stay in the process of words are still coming or there. In my younger days, before we could watch movies really on television, I'd go to the theater, buy a ticket, sit in the movie theater, get my popcorn. The moment it started, bam, because I'm not kvetching over what am I gonna write, and I would sit in the back and bring my pad and a
Ah.
little
Hilarious.
flashlight and
Hilarious.
start to write. But you're so right. If we sit there and go, oh, I can't. Even going back to what you were saying about Linda, not I'm not doing for myself. I'm not. If you sit there and berate yourself, you sit there and you're upset about it, you can't move forward.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Just
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
take a breath
No.
and
Yeah.
be easy with it.
Come on now. Give yourself grace. Give
Right.
yourself grace. We say that for other people. Give it to yourself. And when you're sitting there bitching and moaning and complaining, you know what you're doing? Nothing.
Nothing, nothing. Are you
You ain't
progressive,
doing
Phil?
nothing. You're just piling on. It's no fun. What do you get in agreement? Yeah, I suck. Yes, you're right. You suck. That's not that's not productive. So you're talking about keeping momentum, right? And for me, it's career based, pretty mainly. And so what I do when I feel like I've hit a kind of a dead spot in the process, I start to look inside me. What can I do? I can't do the business. It's bigger than me. I can't make them want me, but can I? And the way I do that is by investing in who I am. Whether that's I go to the gym, I go to a movie, I take time to just get away from it all. Do you know what I mean? Drive my car, do
Mm-hmm.
something that's outside of my just grinding myself down, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And then I get to come back to it with new eyes, and then
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what I need to do. Like this new run that I'm on. I was talking to somebody who asked me the other day, well, did it come from somewhere? We were talking because my friend's mother just passed. Herman's mother just passed, and so I was with friends talking, and they were like, "Well, did it this run you're on? When did it start?" And I realized it kind of started when I started doing those one act plays. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing the act play. I was tired of the industry. I work a lot and I do a lot of different stuff, and it's great, but it wasn't expressive. It wasn't creative enough for me. I wasn't immersed enough. I needed I needed to scare myself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? In a
Mm-hmm.
really good way. I needed to not know and get into places where I was unsure, where my footing wasn't solid. And did I even know how to memorize an entire play? Forget acting in it. Could I even get through the rudiments of learning it? Because what I do mainly, if I'm doing voiceover, I'm reading it. It's right in front of me. If I'm doing television, I'm doing a page, a 7/8 of a page, 6/8 of a page, 4/8 of a page, half a page. It's really it's intense, but it's brief. It's quick. I needed something that really kind of took my guts out and showed them to me. So when I started to do that, things started to shift. Why? I was shifting. I was doing the shifting. It wasn't someone else doing it, it was me doing it. It wasn't me looking at the universe and hoping it was going to agree with me. It's me coming into agreement with myself and going, I know you're scared of this, man, and it might be really painful and confusing and frustrating at first, but guess what? You need that. That's exactly what you need. You've been chilling a little too much these days. You playing within certain margins. I needed to get rid of those lines. I needed to get rid of those boundaries that I had set up for myself. And when I did that, as scary as it can sometimes be, the result was and is wholly pleasing. And I think that's why I am where I am right now in this journey. The ability to accept what I truly need as opposed to what I want and what's going to make me comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
to push that, so that
Mm-hmm.
it makes me better than I was just a moment before.
The
You didn't stay
comfortable
stuck.
word.
You didn't stay stuck.
No.
Don't stay stuck in something. I don't know what to do about this right now. I gotta break out, but I don't know where to go. I don't know. Well, what can you do just right now that may not be what you're looking for? That may not be the ultimate. The series may not be there. The movies may not be there. But what can you do to exercise your talent, to grow, to
Yes. No
move
excuse not
forward?
to.
Right, right. Let me go and do this. And you think you're getting this from it, and then it expands who you are, because you
Yes.
you surprise yourself, back to what we started with, surprising yourself about your instrument. This is your instrument. My husband plays percussion. He's touching his instruments, but actually his instrument are his hands. Linda's instrument, her mind, her writing, Phyllis, all of us, this is our instrument. And we have to massage that in any way it needs to in the moment. I'm with you, Phil. Sometimes you don't know what to do. So take a walk around the block, go to the gym,
Get
call
out of
somebody
yourself.
else and see how they're doing. Go volunteer for something. Go do something. Don't just sit there and I don't know where to go, because what happens, Linda? Not do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You're not
Nothing
moving
really.
right.
Real
You get
fast, because
stuck and
this is your
frozen.
point, Iona. It's so my buddy Vince Viloff, who's a crazy actor guy, crazy nutball. I love
Oh,
him
we
to
got to
death.
have the crazy actor
Wonderful.
guy here.
He's so great. But he's no longer an actor. He now runs nightclubs in Austin, Texas. But it's a story
Okay.
for another day. Um, and I had come back from an audition, and this was like maybe a few years ago, and I was all tight about it. I was like, man, I can't let it go. And so I hit him up. I'm like, bro, you might have more objectivity because you're no longer doing it. How come I can't let this go? What do I need to do to let this go? He goes, the next thing. I said, what? He goes, you leave, right? You can no longer do anything. You're thinking about it, doesn't do anything. You've already done it. You're gone. What's the next thing you got to do? Walk your dog? Go walk your dog. What's the
Hmm.
next thing you got to do? Put gas in your car? Put gas in your car.
Right.
What's the next thing you have to do? You got to go, get food? Go get food. Got to go to the market? Go to the market. And dude, that freed me
Right.
from so much bullshit. Because he was right. That's the only thing there is to do.
Yeah.
You call your
Thing.
agent. I did really good. It was really wonderful. You're still in that moment.
Hmm.
You know, you're still living in the past. You want to hold on to it a little bit because you liked it. You felt great about it. That's great. But don't let it eat you up.
Hmm.
Let it go.
I told you I had technical difficulties in Sunday's show with all of these guys. I mean, and I'm a perfectionist. So I was,
Mm.
Phil knows how hard I work to get all this together. So I'm going to make sure it's all working. And I was really upset. And then days later, I'm like, what am I going to do? I got to do X, Y, and Z. How come this didn't work? And I sat down and went, what do I need to do right now just to make this happen? And I went, I'm going to go make a salad. I have to eat. I went, made my salad. I came back. My head was clear. I took one step. Google University is friggin' awesome. I Googled everything I needed. I put it together. I went out today, bought some new lenses. It's taken me all week, but I got it all together. But every time I find in my life when I'm moving too fast, when I'm getting worried about something, when I'm like, oh my, I'm having anxiety about what's the next thing to do, I misplace something, I lose something, I miss something. But the moment I stop and breathe and just go, what's the next thing to do? I'll go. I'm hungry. I'll go have make a salad, which is not what I would have thought to do because I'm at the computer. It totally freed me, so then I could go. Great. I need to go on this app. I need to go here, and because the more that we put that pressure on ourselves, you can't see the forest for the
Mm,
tree.
mm, pushes you further away.
Yeah, it pushes you further away. It's so true. And the universe can't get to you while it's trying to tell you what you need to do next to make your project or whatever it is move forward because you're too busy upset.
Yeah.
Nothing can go
Empty
through.
cup theory. There's no room.
Right.
The void is filled.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Linda, book two. Book two. Did you think you were going to write two books, or did you just have one in mind?
When I originally wrote the book, it was just one kind of big book, and it was a very different book. And then a friend had said, "Hey, have you thought about doing a series?" And so I broke it into three parts. But when I started working with the publisher, I just kind of put them all together. And it was really long and it didn't make a lot of sense. So I just pulled it apart, put it into two different. And I didn't know if I would come back to it in book two, but
Mm-hmm.
there were certain things that as I was doing the revisions in book one in preparation for the publishing, I realized there's more here. I've introduced certain dynamics, and there's more here. And there's one character in particular I definitely want to see him. He's not a good guy, and I definitely want to see him shine. And he does in this book too, where
Mm.
he really shows himself. And I like that, to be able to get down and dirty with it. And so it wasn't necessarily the original plan, but it's worked out to be a pretty good plan.
Linda, for our audience who doesn't know, most of our regulars do, but would you just give them a brief synopsis of the of the gourmet of. I'm sorry, I'm
The
losing
Grizzly
my.
Grizzly
Gourmet.
Thank you,
Gourmet.
the Grizzly Gourmet. Sorry, losing my mind, leaving my mind.
Just really quickly, The Grizzly Gourmet is about a gentleman named Theo, and Theo is on the eve of culinary greatness when he discovers that through a tragic turn of events that he has to take on the mantle of becoming a vampire. And when it's a family legacy thing. It's an honor and a whole deal. And when he does it, he's really upset because he's about to become this culinary giant. And he's a vampire, so he's going to be drinking blood for the rest of his life or whatever. And two of his dearest friends said, have you ever thought about the fact that maybe there's a whole other world that also needs gourmets? And that you could still be a great chef. You just have a different audience. And he realizes, oh my gosh. And he becomes the greatest chef in the monster world, basically. So it's about a vampire chef.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great read. It's a great
A
read.
lot of
Yes,
fun.
check it out.
Yeah. And it's about grief and tragedy and overcoming
Loss and
hurdles and loss.
mhm,
And what do you do when your dream is deferred, and
mhm.
how do you keep going? So yeah.
He kept
Linda,
the momentum.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I see. I see you. I see you,
See what I'm
Phil.
saying? See what I'm doing?
I
See what I'm
see you,
doing? That's
Phil.
what I do here. That's what I
I
do.
that tell you he's Linda. Would you ever make your book into a show or a movie? Yes, yes. She may say all she's doing is writing it, but I'm here to tell you, it should be a movie. It should be a streaming series. It is friggin' awesome, and it's a new take on the story of vampires.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Linda.
exactly.
Would you like to answer?
I wouldn't adapt it personally, but I'd have to be talked into it because I've lived with it so much as a book. So I'd have to be talked into it. But it could be fun to see. I mean, my brother and my sister. One of the characters is based on Phil, basically. The other character is based on Iona's personality. Another character in there is truly, and one of the characters is
Okay.
kind of based on my niece, who would never perform it ever. I mean, Rachel would never act in it, but to see it brought to life in a certain way could be kind of cool. But
You have no plans.
I'm just yeah, I have no plans. I want to see just where it goes, just naturally, whatever
Mm,
happens.
And I
mm.
think some of the best books, if you have future plans of it being a movie, I think you miss the artistry of what you're doing in the moment.
I agree. I agree. Well,
You
good
know,
point, Iona. Good point.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You
you
know,
stay with your book, and I will be there to champion, and Phil will be there getting ready to play that part.
well,
And no,
whatever comes.
Whatever
by the way,
comes, yeah,
no,
truly, truly.
Theo is not
But
Phil. Just so you guys
No,
know,
it's another
Theo's not
character.
Phil. It's
mm-hmm,
another
yeah.
character.
More powerful. Anyway.
Yes, actually. Good job,
So
Phil.
I
I hope I didn't give anything away.
but
Spoiler alert.
remember the tenacity. Remember that
The growl.
the
Yeah.
ground. Hey, Phil mentioned, Linda. Phil did. He said, keep that momentum. He came right back to the title of today's.
Yes.
So how do you keep the momentum? You've got all this stuff going on. How do you keep it going?
You know, wow. I just do. I
But why? Okay, you just do why?
because I it energizes me. It feeds me to keep engaged and involved and diversifying and trying new things, and it informs my life. I'm living my life, and I feel that I've been really fortunate in my life to have had quite extraordinary experiences, and to grab them and be willing to do them. I mean, I'm about to venture from a work standpoint into something completely different in my life. And I'm not 12, I'm not 22, I'm 61, turning 62 soon. And I'm still gonna try new things because I can.
Come on.
Because there's so much out there to be done. And it also informs my art. It also gives me great stories, and I meet the most amazing people. And, for all my shyness or whatever, I get to really meet some extraordinary people who help me become a better creative person. And a person in general, a human. And so that's why I keep doing it. I can run myself ragged and all these different things. And you know what? It's okay, because then I'll take a minute, I'll go for a walk, I'll hang out with the rabbit, I'll hang out with the dog, I'll cook some food, I'll, read a good book, and I'll watch something ridiculous on television, and laugh at something and cry at something, and keep going.
Hmm.
Mm, mm.
That's great, Linda. And I know Phil's got some thoughts about that too. Before we go further, though, I would like to bring up Patricia Pinkston has asked, is there a cookbook that involves character animals, right? And her other question right now, let me see if I can get that one as part of this. Um,
She's
she's
asking if this is what the book is
are
about.
are they involved? Well, she's asking if there's going to be a recipe book,
Well, there is a cookbook.
a
All
cookbook.
the recipes in there, I recipe test. So I'm recipe testing pretty much everything that's in there. Um, the the cooking in there is, while he's a vampire chef and there's all these other things, it's not disgusting. And it's actually, my friend Vince said this, he mentioned it to Phil and I. He said, what I want to do with your book trailer is I want to make sure we create something that makes people's mouth drool like it does when I read the book. So it is a culinary experience, but it's not gory. That's
Mm.
what I'll say. And so there's not anything like that going on in there. But what's interesting is I did a ton of research regarding food that feeds the blood, and things that are really good for your blood. And so there's information actually about and how certain blood types mix and how they don't.
Mm.
And so, there's that. But yeah, I do recipe testing a lot because I am planning to have a cookbook.
That's going to be awesome. Phil, so what do you do to keep your momentum going?
I'm going to use this as my final because I have people
Oh,
that
yes, sure.
are here, and we're just, so I'm going to use this is my final.
Okay, you got it, sweetie.
Do you mind? Do you
No,
mind?
not
I
at
have, I have
all.
to ask my producer.
Absolutely. I love it.
I think momentum is really important because, like I said, you can do something one time. That's terrific. What's the follow up? What's the follow through? You know, it's like acting. I know a lot of people who can get up on stage and they're fairly fearless. Um, can you maintain that? I told you I didn't even know if I could get through a whole play because I'd been doing TV for so long and voiceovers for so long.
Mm.
I needed something to change my outlook. I needed motivation. I needed momentum because it had stopped. And so I used my challenge, my inner challenge to motivate me, as opposed to looking outside myself and waiting for somebody else to do it or getting inspiration from something else outside of me. I used me and tried to answer those things in me that were unrequited to maintain, to get that thing going. And the way I maintained it was not letting it go, holding on to those precepts that I needed for me to continue the fight, continue hustling. And I told Linda I would mention this on the show. We were both very tired, all of us. Iona works very hard. Linda works very hard. She's up at 3 in the morning dealing with another continent, in fact, that she's doing this business with. And I've been working my tail off for quite some time, and certainly this last experience was very challenging. The phrase was this: if you're tired, do it tired,
That's right.
Love that.
but don't stop. If you're tired, do it tired. Find rest later. But if what you're required to do requires you to do it while you're tired, do it tired. Don't cheat yourself. That's big. That's maybe what I want to leave. Don't cheat yourself. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about in your heart of hearts, in your mind's eye, when you're by yourself and you know the you that you only you know is you. Don't cheat that part of you. Keep yourself alive on the planet. Keep yourself inspired by yourself. Keep yourself motivated from yourself and through yourself. That's the only thing you can control. The other stuff you cannot. It is not guaranteed. So create the guarantee within yourself. Show up for yourself every single day, every moment. And when you're tired, do it tired. That's what I got to say.
You tell him, Phil.
I love
just,
that. Linda, that was Phil. You just Linda. What you got? What you got to say, Lenny?
Well, first of all, somebody mentioned that garlic is good for the blood, and it is, and it's in the book. So there you go. Ah, but all I have to say is that, yeah, do it tired. Finding the momentum, finding that spark in you that keeps you going for you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that you look at in the mirror. You're the one that you're with. You're the one that you need to support. And we have those people in our lives that are important, and we need to give to them as well. We cannot do for others unless we do for this. And so give yourself all of you because you deserve it.
That was beautiful. All right, let's see. I just follow those two. It's so awesome. I don't know what I would do if I didn't get up in the morning and live my passion. So I wonder what you would do. Every morning I get up and I know I'm going to have a great day, even if there's something messed up that happens the day, because that's life, right? Life goes like this. Love yourself. I'm always talking about that. Love yourself. That's a lot of momentum. If you can do that every day, even when you know that something funky's going on, and get out there and do what you love to do, there is energy in that. And from you doing that, it sparks other things. If you just sit around and complain and do nothing, like we said earlier, nothing happens. I understand that sometimes we all go into the valley of the shadow of death and we're so sad, something's happened, or we're upset, or we don't know what to do. Breathe, relax. What's the next thing to do? Sometimes it's just to go make a salad, feed yourself. Phil mentions going to the gym. Linda mentions to think of other ideas in her mind just about life in the moment. Give yourself grace. Give yourself a break. Don't fetch over anything for too long. Allow space so that the answers can come to you. Remember, someone wins a race by taking one step at a time. Really glad to have all of you here this week. I just want to Phil, I know you're going. Let me real fast give this info of where you can find all of us. And I have a song, Family Matters, coming on, and this is where you can find me. And this is where you can find Linda Winda. This is where you can find the show. And I know if you guys go back to see it, you'll be able to see us and you can find it all. But I know Phil has people there. And Phil, Linda and I know want to say to your friend Herman, we're very sorry for his loss.
Thank you.
We
I will
love
pass
him.
it along.
Yeah,
I
please
pass
do.
it along.
You
Yeah.
guys
It was
have
all
a great
yesterday,
week.
so I love you guys. Universe
you.
willing. See you in a week.
Night night, Philly. Love y'all. Have a good week. Thanks, Lenny.
Bye, Linda. You're amazing.
Bye, everyone.